Hey, what is going on, brothers and sisters? Eric Rosen here, your internal strength coach, here to show you how to overcome your greatest challenges so you can shine your brightest light. It is Monday, March 4th, 2019. Thanks for hanging out with me. A couple quick announcements. Number one, actually, big announcements, believe it or not. I'm officially, been putting myself out there as a feng shui consultant. This is something that basically works with the energy inside of your home. So you guys may not have potentially been too apt to, dive into coaching, dive into personal training, but hey, who doesn't want to have their home feel friggin' awesome, right? So if you're interested in that, you can hit me up and we can get a consultation set up. There's really not a whole lot of front end work on your end. I basically just come to your house and make some recommendations, and if you choose to make those changes, you can watch and just see how things change for you, see how much better your home can feel overall, but also specific rooms, and then also the harmony and the fortune that it brings into your life as well, not just your home, because home is part of the foundation of the fabric of who you are in your day-to-day life. So but then, because I am offering the feng shui consulting now, and I'm going to be taking that on full time, you can only juggle so many projects. So I am going to be stepping down from offering personal training at this point. Basically, what it really comes down to is this: is that the deeper I get with um, exploring life, exploring spirituality, exploring, where I'm at in my journey, it's become clear to me that, um, really the things right now that, excuse me, my eyes very dry, the things that are very relevant to me right now are doing things that really set my soul on fire, things that really excite me, and um, things that are new and unknown, and I just can't wait to do them. And they're, furthering this mission I have, which is really just teaching people the same thing, which is it's okay to step into like what truly excites your heart. That's your North Star. That's what's meant to guide you. And so it became really apparent to me during a meditation that this is something that I have to let go of. And on the surface, it's like, well, it doesn't make sense. It's something I know how to do. It's something I'm good at. It's something that is an income stream in my business. But the thing is that when you start to get really deep with purpose, sometimes that logic, that the logic wants to keep us locked into safety. It wants to say, you need safety, you need a foundation, you need to stick with what you know and all this stuff. But the thing is that the more cords you have wrapped to the stuff that you know, the less room you have, the less space you have in your reality to commit to things that you don't know. And it can be really scary moving into what you don't know and what comes next. And that's actually what I want to get deeper into today is there's this feeling of like, okay, what's next? And I don't mean that just for myself. I mean for all of us. Like energetically, it's almost like getting to like the top of a roller coaster where like you can't see the drop yet, and you've like made it right to that almost flat part at the top, and we're about to just like go down to some twists and turns, and we don't know which way the roller coaster is going to take us. But that can be really frightening or really exhilarating depending on how you want to look at it. How do you feel about roller coasters? Because really that's what life is um, it's actually a good analogy, roller coaster, because it can be really exhilarating, but can you make it that exciting for yourself, or is it going to scare the shit out of you? How it's different from a roller coaster. It's like you ride the roller coaster a few times. It's like, okay, I know how this is going to go. I know this twist is here. I know this loop is here. We're talking about getting on a different roller coaster, like every time the energy changes in the universe. So this is something that we can make work for us if we choose to make life exciting. So I mean, Mercury is going retrograde tomorrow. It's going to be really, from what I understand, it's going to be a very intense retrograde. With Mercury ruling thought, communication, making making big decisions, travel delays, communication breakdowns, miscommunications are always something that people, astrologers especially, want to point out when Mercury retrograde rolls around. But this particular one in Pisces with all the other planets direct, which means that everything's just kind of moving forward in life. We're not really going back and drilling down too deeply and looking at things. Um, it's going to be really intense. There's not much else I can say about it. And with Uranus coming in to Taurus, which, Uranus is all about ascension. It rules the skies, the unpredictability of the skies, electricity, just kind of like it's kind of the planet that comes and gives things a shock. And with that moving into Taurus, which is all about self-worth, values, projects, relationships, money, manifesting, all that. We might see not only some really huge change in those areas in our own lives, but also on a worldly sense too. So, just it really has this feel of like the energy is about to shift, and we really just don't know exactly how that's going to look for us, right? We don't know. There's just a feeling of like, okay, something else is coming, and it can be really uncomfortable because you don't know what it's going to feel like. And then the feeling I've been having is, prior to the weekend, just stepping in some really awesome, powerful energy, more so than I ever have. And then the weekend was kind of like a little like meh. And then today it's like, I really just feel like today is kind of a day of surrender because we don't know what the drop's going to be on this roller coaster where, trying to understand things, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out like our day to day. Like there's really no use in like figuring out our day to day right now. I feel like because it's all about to change. Um, Trying to go back and feel what I did a few days ago isn't going to work. It's really just like the surrender of like, okay, it doesn't mean like sit in the shower crying, until things get better. All the planets are still direct. We do still have to keep moving forward and stuff. But I feel like as far as trying to, feel really awesome about everything that we're doing and trying to understand everything, it's going to be difficult. And really, it's going to be hard to understand, anything immediately too that we're trying to piece together because Mercury's going retrograde. So I think it's going to be, I think we're going to be looking really deeply because that's what Mercury retrograde is. It's not the forward progression of thought and decision making and communication. It's more in the sense of going backwards with it, of kind of like, well, let me rethink what I'm doing. Let me rethink this. Let's communicate with some of these, thoughts that I've had before and these decisions I've made about where I'm going. It's kind of drilling back down and looking and going, okay, is this really what I want to be doing? It's a reflection. It's a really deep reflection. So, um, I wish I had like some really awesome advice to be like, yeah, do this, this, and this. But the best thing that I can tell you from what I've gathered is to, um, to just surrender to the fact that, our lives can change for the better, but we have to be willing to step up and start to look at life differently too, and start to live life in a different way as opposed to just the day to day monotony task and the fragmentation of how our days go. I think it's about understanding a higher order of where not only your life is headed, but where like we're all headed, like this entire world, because you have to understand that just because we've known the world to be a certain way for so long, and we've seen like this continued like evolution over time of like the rise of like technology and medicine and all these things, I wouldn't fool yourselves into thinking that we wouldn't can't see like some, drastic sweeping change in our lifetime. So um, that's what I got for you guys. Might seem kind of bizarre, but I the best thing I can say if I had to sum it up in a few words is just hold tight, surrender to knowing that God's got your back, and that if you're choosing this path of wanting to, especially if you're wanting to pursue your purpose in life, if you're trying to know who you really are and wanting to go further with that, that if you just stay committed to that and understand that there's going to be days like today where we just don't know, we can't have things figured out, but that somehow things always work out. If you notice, if you're feeling today like nothing makes sense, if you're feeling like you can't figure things out, if you're not feeling good, just notice like it never, even if you get caught in a funk for months, even if you get caught in a funk for years, like it never stays the same. So embrace the fact that things are always going to change, and then look for these opportunities, even if it feels difficult to change, to grow into whatever it is that internally you know that you're being guided to. And that's going to be what you need to focus on during this retrograde starting for the next 3 weeks, is that internal guidance system, that intuition, because this isn't going to get it. Let me say that again. This is not going to cut it. If you make if you're trying to figure things out and you think you're a genius and you make a big decision, you make a big purchase or whatever, the warning of Mercury retrogrades is often that you didn't have all the facts, you didn't have all the details because things weren't moving forward with that kind of thinking and communication, and then you might get a surprise in a month or further down the road. So, but anyways, I'm gonna run, guys. It's been real. I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care.